Picture this. You're standing at a fork in the road of your life journey. Down one path is the familiar route, littered with people who make you question your worth. The ones who chip away at your self-esteem day after day with their careless words and selfish actions. You've walked among them for so long that you start to believe the stories they tell about you. That you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of authentic love and respect. But if you quiet your mind and listen closely, there's a small voice inside beckoning you down the other path. The one that's overgrown and uncertain, but humming with possibilities. At first, it terrifies you. The thought of walking away from the familiar, even if it's toxic, feels like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. What if I'm not strong enough to make it on my own? What if I never find my tribe? The people who see me really see me and cherish what they find. I want you to take a deep breath and hear this truth. You already have everything you need to embark on this journey. The strength, the resilience, the inherent worthiness. It's woven into the very fabric of your... You just have to choose to claim it. Choosing peace over people who make you feel unworthy isn't about them. It's about you. It's about honoring your highest self, even when others can't or won't. It's about giving yourself permission to outgrow relationships that keep you... Because here's the thing. When you start to value your peace above all else, the universe conspires to surround you with people and experiences that reflect your inner state. You start to magnetize relationships that nourish your soul instead of starving it. But I know it's easier said than done. The ego loves the familiar, even when it's draped in dysfunction. It will cling to toxic patterns and people like a life raft, convincing you that this is as good as it gets. That you should be grateful for the crumbs of affection they toss you, instead of holding out for the whole damn cake. So how do you break free? How do you find the courage to choose your peace when everything in you wants to stay small and safe? It starts with a simple question. What would someone who loves themselves do when your boss berates you in front of the whole office? What would someone who loves themselves do? They'd stand firm in their worth and refuse to internalize the criticism. They'd speak up assertively or start looking for a job where they're valued. When your partner constantly criticizes your every move, what would someone who loves themselves do? They'd communicate their needs clearly and unapologetically. They'd be willing to walk away if those needs aren't met. Choosing peace isn't about avoiding conflict or numbing your emotions with spiritual bypassing. It's about honoring your authentic feelings while refusing to let them control you. It's about learning to respond instead of react, to speak your truth even when your voice shakes. Because here's what happens when you start to choose peace over people. You create space for miracles, for serendipitous encounters with like-minded souls who see your light and reflect it back to you. For opportunities that would have never crossed your path if you were still clinging to the familiar. You start to trust the journey even when you can't see the whole staircase. But it takes practice. It's a muscle you have to strengthen every single day with your thoughts, your words, your actions. You have to be willing to disappoint people, to risk judgment and rejection in the pursuit of your highest truth. You have to learn to be your own best friend, your own inner parent, your own source of unconditional love. And some days you'll stumble. You'll catch yourself slipping back into old patterns, seeking validation from all the wrong places. But instead of beating yourself up, I want you to practice compassion. Speak to yourself like you would a beloved friend, with gentleness, with understanding, with unwavering belief in your inherent worthiness. As you keep showing up for yourself day after day, something magical starts to happen. You start to attract people and experiences that mirror your newfound peace. You find yourself surrounded by a community that celebrates your authentic self, that challenges you to keep growing and evolving. And when you do find yourself in the presence of toxic energy, you have the tools to alchemize it into something beautiful. Because that's the ultimate superpower of choosing peace. It doesn't just transform you. It transforms the world around you. When you refuse to let others dim your light, you give everyone around you permission to shine. You become a walking, talking testament to the power of self-love. And that kind of energy is contagious. So I invite you right here, right now, to take that first step down the path of peace. To look in the mirror and say, I choose me. I choose my joy, my worth, my highest self, and I trust that everything else will fall into place. It won't be easy. Growth never is. But on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that you've only dared to dream about. A you that is unshakable in your worth, unapologetic in your truth, and deeply at peace with who you are. And as you embark on this journey, I want you to remember this: you are not alone. There is a whole community of seekers and healers and light workers walking beside you, cheering you on every step of the way. Lean on their wisdom when you falter. Celebrate their victories as if they were your own. Because in the end, we're all just walking each other home. So take a deep breath, square your shoulders, and step into your power. The world is waiting for you to show up as your most radiant, authentic self. And trust me when I say it will be a sight to behold. As you move through your day today, I want you to start noticing all the little ways you give your power away. The snide comment from a coworker that you let ruin your whole afternoon. The passive-aggressive text from a friend that you spend hours overanalyzing. The self-deprecating joke you make about your body or your brilliance. Each one of these moments is an opportunity to choose differently, to choose peace over people-pleasing. It's a chance to reclaim your power and stand firmly in your worth. And it doesn't have to be some grand, dramatic gesture. Sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply refusing to engage, to smile serenely and keep on shining. But here's the key. You have to be willing to disappoint people. You have to be willing to risk being perceived as selfish or uncaring or too much, because the truth is, not everyone is going to understand your journey. Not everyone is going to celebrate your growth, especially if it means you're no longer willing to play small. And that's okay. Your job isn't to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. It's to keep expanding into your highest truth, even when it ruffles some feathers. It's to trust that the people who are meant to walk beside you will celebrate your evolution, not resent it. So start small. The next time someone says something that feels like a sucker punch to your soul, take a deep breath before you respond. Check in with your inner knowing and ask, is this mine to carry? If the answer is no, let it go with love. If the answer is yes, speak your truth with compassion and then release the outcome. The more you practice choosing peace, the easier it becomes. You start to develop a kind of emotional immunity where the opinions and projections of others no longer have the power to infect your sense of self. You start to attract people and situations that reflect your newfound clarity, your unwavering commitment to your own well-being. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you choose peace over people-pleasing, the more genuine and harmonious your relationships become. Because you're no longer showing up as a watered-down version of yourself, contorting to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. You're showing up as your most authentic, radiant self. And that kind of energy is magnetic. So keep choosing peace, even when it's hard. Keep choosing yourself, even when the world tells you it's selfish. Keep trusting that inner voice that whispers there's more for you. Because on the other side of every challenge, every moment of discomfort is a version of you that you've only dared to dream about. A you that is deeply rooted in your worth, your wisdom, your infinite potential. And as you keep showing up as that version of yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon of hope for everyone who's ever felt lost or unworthy or alone. You become a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to choose ourselves, again and again and again. So take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, and repeat after me. I choose peace. I choose joy. I choose me. Let it become your mantra, your rallying cry, your anchor in the storm. And trust that every time you choose yourself, the universe is cheering you on, conspiring in your favor, aligning you with your highest good. Because that's the ultimate truth. When you choose peace over people-pleasing, you're not just transforming your own life, you're transforming the world around you, one brave and beautiful choice at a time. And there's no greater gift you can give to yourself or to humanity than that. So keep shining, my friend. Keep choosing peace. And trust that every step you take is leading you closer to the life of your dreams. A life of deep connection, unbridled joy, and unshakable peace. You've got this. And I'm right here beside you every step of the way. As you continue on this path of choosing peace, I want to talk about the power of forgiveness. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Forgive the people who hurt me, who made me feel small and unworthy. No way, they don't deserve my forgiveness. And I get it. Believe me, I've been there. I've nursed grudges like they were my life's work, rehashing every slight and injustice until it felt like a full-time job. But here's the thing about forgiveness. It's about you. It's about giving yourself permission to put down the heavy baggage of resentment and anger so you can lighten your load for the journey ahead. Think of it this way. When you refuse to forgive, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You're the one who suffers, not them. You're the one who carries the toxic energy in your body, your mind, your spirit. And over time, that toxicity starts to leak out into every area of your life, tainting your relationships, your work, your sense of self. But when you choose forgiveness, you're not saying what they did was okay. You're not excusing their behavior or inviting them back into your life. You're simply saying, I'm not going to let this control me anymore. I'm not going to give you free rent in my head and my heart. I'm going to release this hurt so I can make space for something better. And I know it's not easy. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It's something you have to practice every day with every trigger and every painful memory. But like any muscle, the more you flex your forgiveness muscle, the stronger it becomes. And over time, you start to notice a shift in your energy, your outlook, your ability to attract goodness into your life. One of the most powerful tools for forgiveness is empathy. When you can put yourself in the other person's shoes, even for a moment, it becomes harder to vilify them. You start to see their humanity, their wounds, their own struggle to find peace. And while it doesn't excuse their actions, it can soften your heart just enough to let some of that anger and resentment start to melt away. Another tool is gratitude. I know it might sound counterintuitive. How can you be grateful for someone who hurts you? But when you can find even the tiniest glimmer of a silver lining, it shifts your whole perspective. Maybe that toxic relationship taught you how to set boundaries. Maybe that betrayal showed you who your true friends are. Maybe that loss cracked you open so you could finally let the light in. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start to practice forgiveness, it becomes contagious. When you show up in the world as someone who is willing to let go of grudges and choose peace, it inspires others to do the same. It creates a ripple effect of healing and compassion that touches everyone around you. So I invite you right here, right now, to think of one person or situation that you've been holding on to, one grudge that's been weighing you down, one hurt that's been keeping you stuck. And I want you to take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart and say out loud, I forgive you. I release you. I choose peace. Now, this doesn't mean you have to reach out to that person or invite them back into your life. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is love them from a distance. But what it does mean is that you're no longer giving them the power to control your emotional state. You're no longer letting them take up precious real estate in your mind and your heart. And as you continue to practice forgiveness, I want you to remember this. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of incredible strength and resilience. It's a sign that you're more committed to your own peace and happiness than you are to holding on to old hurt. It's a sign that you're ready to step into a new story, a new chapter, a new way of being in the world. So keep choosing forgiveness, even when it's hard. Keep choosing empathy, even when you want to lash out. Keep choosing gratitude, even in the darkest of times. Because on the other side of that, forgiveness is a lightness, a freedom, a joy that you never knew was possible. And you deserve to experience every ounce of it. As you walk out of here today, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. A commitment to keep choosing peace, even when the world feels chaotic. A commitment to keep choosing forgiveness, even when your ego is screaming for revenge. A commitment to keep choosing your own happiness, even when others try to drag you down into their misery. And I want you to know that you're not alone in this commitment. You have a whole community of people who are walking this path with you, who are cheering you on every step of the way. Lean on them when you stumble. Celebrate with them when you soar. And most importantly, remind each other of your inherent worthiness, your unshakable strength, your infinite capacity for love and joy and peace. Because that's what this journey is all about, remembering who you really are, not the small, scared, unworthy version of yourself that others have tried to project onto you, but the radiant, resilient, whole and holy version of yourself that has always been there, just waiting to be unleashed. And as you keep choosing that version of yourself, as you keep showing up as your most authentic and unapologetic self, you start to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. A life filled with passion and purpose and deep, meaningful connect. A life where you wake up every day excited to be alive, excited to see what miracles and magic are waiting for you around every corner. That life is available to you right here, right now. But you have to choose it. You have to be willing to let go of the old stories, the old patterns, the old people and places that have been keeping you stuck. You have to be willing to take a leap of faith, to trust that even though you can't see the whole path ahead, every step is taking you closer to your highest good. And you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because growth and comfort cannot coexist. Every time you choose peace over people-pleasing, every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, every time you choose your own happiness over someone else's expectations, you're stretching yourself beyond your old limitations. You're expanding into new territory, new possibilities, new ways of being in the world. But here's the secret. On the other side of that discomfort is a joy and a freedom that you can't even imagine. A sense of peace and purpose that comes from living in alignment with your deepest truth. A love for yourself and for life that is unshakable, unbreakable, and truly unconditional. So feel the fear and choose peace anyway. Feel the anger and choose forgiveness anyway. Feel the discomfort and choose growth anyway. Because every brave and beautiful choice you make is not just transforming your life. It's transforming the world. It's creating a ripple effect of healing and hope and possibility that touches every single person you meet. And that, my friends, is the power of choosing peace. That is the power of forgiving the unforgivable, of loving the unlovable, of embracing the uncertain and the unknown. That is the power of showing up as your most radiant, authentic self and inspiring others to do the same. So as you walk out of here today, I want you to remember that power. I want you to remember that no matter what challenges or obstacles or naysayers you face, you always have a choice. You always have the power to choose peace, to choose forgiveness, to choose your own unshakable joy. And I want you to remember that you are not just choosing for yourself. You are choosing for the world. Every time you choose peace, you are planting a seed of hope and healing that will sprout and blossom in ways you can't even imagine. Every time you choose forgiveness, you are breaking the cycle of hurt and anger and creating space for something new and beautiful to grow. So keep choosing, my friends. Keep being brave and bold and unapologetically you. Keep shining your light, even when the world feels dark. Keep trusting that every choice you make is leading you closer to the life of your dreams. Now, I want to talk about a word that gets thrown around a lot in the self-help world, a word that's been plastered on t-shirts and coffee mugs and Instagram quotes so much that it's almost lost its meaning. And that word is authenticity. But here's the thing. Authenticity isn't just a buzzword. It's not just something you post about on social media to make yourself look deep and enlightened. Authenticity is the daily practice of showing up as your true self, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when it means disappointing others or facing your own deepest fears. And I know it's not easy. We live in a world that's constantly telling us who we should be, what we should want, how we should look and act and think and feel. From the moment we're born, we're bombarded with messages about what it means to be good or successful, or messages that are often rooted in someone else's agenda, someone else's definition of happiness. But here's the truth. You are not here to live someone else's life. You are not here to be a watered-down, people-pleasing version of yourself. You are here to be uniquely, unapologetically, brilliantly you, with all your quirks and imperfections and contradictions and dreams. And when you start to embrace that truth, when you start to peel back the layers of who you think you're supposed to be and get honest about who you really are, something miraculous happens. You start to attract people and opportunities and experiences that are in alignment with your deepest desires. You start to feel a sense of ease and flow and joy that comes from living in your own authentic truth. But it takes courage. It takes a willingness to be vulnerable, to risk rejection and judgment and failure. It takes a commitment to keep showing up as your true self, even when the world is telling you to be someone else. So how do you cultivate that kind of courage? How do you start to live more authentically in a world that's constantly pushing you to conform? It starts with getting quiet, with turning down the volume on all the external noise and expectations and tuning into your own inner voice. That voice that's always been there beneath the fear and the doubt and the people-pleasing. That voice that knows your deepest truths, your wildest dreams, your most authentic desires. And it means learning to trust that voice, even when it's scary. Even when it's leading you down a path that feels uncertain or unconventional or downright terrifying. Because here's the thing. Your inner voice is not trying to lead you astray. It's trying to guide you towards your highest good, your deepest joy, your most authentic life. So start small. Start by noticing the little ways you betray yourself every day. The white lies you tell to avoid rocking the boat, the yeses you give when you really mean no, the parts of yourself you hide away because you think they're too much or not enough. And then start to make different choices. So start to speak your truth even when your voice shakes. Start to set boundaries around your time and energy and emotional well-being. Start to show up as your full, messy, magnificent self, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you practice authenticity, the more magnetic you become. Because there is nothing more attractive, more compelling, more irresistible than someone who knows who they are and isn't afraid to show it. Someone who radiates a sense of ease and confidence and joy that comes from living in alignment with their deepest truth. And as you start to embody that kind of authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon of hope and possibility for everyone who's ever felt like they had to hide or compromise or contort themselves to fit in. You become a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to be ourselves, fully and unapologetically. But it's not a one-time event. Authenticity is a daily practice, a lifelong journey of coming home to yourself again and again. It's a commitment to keep peeling back the layers, to keep getting honest about who you are and what you want, to keep showing up as your true self, even when it's messy and imperfect and vulnerable. And it's a journey that will ask you to confront your deepest fears and insecurities. It will ask you to let go of old stories and identities that no longer serve you. It will ask you to take risks and make choices that feel scary and uncertain. But here's what I know for sure. On the other side of that fear is a freedom and a joy that you can't even imagine. A sense of ease and flow and alignment that comes from living in your own authentic truth. A love for yourself and for life that is unshakable, unbreakable, and truly unconditional.
And that, my friends, is worth every moment of discomfort, every ounce of courage, every leap of faith. Because when you're living authentically, when you're showing up as your true self in every moment, you're not just creating a life that feels good, you're creating a life that is good. A life that is rich and meaningful and fulfilling beyond your wildest dreams.
So I invite you right here, right now, to make a commitment to your own authenticity, to start peeling back the layers of who you think you're supposed to be and get honest about who you really are, to start trusting your inner voice, even when it's scary, to start showing up as your full, messy, magnificent self, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And I want you to know that you don't have to do it alone. You have a whole community of people who are on this journey with you, who are cheering you on every step of the way. Lean on them when you stumble. Celebrate with them when you soar. And most importantly, remind each other that you are worthy and deserving of a life that feels good. A life that is good. Because here's the truth. The world needs your authenticity. The world needs your unique gifts and talents and perspectives. The world needs the fullness of who you are. Not the watered-down, people-pleasing version, but the real, raw, imperfect beauty. So be brave, my friends. Be bold. Be unapologetically yourselves. Trust that your inner voice is leading you towards your highest good. And know that every moment of authenticity, every act of courage, every leap of faith is not just transforming your life, it's transforming the world. And as you walk out of here today, I want you to remember this. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to play small. You are not here to live someone else's life. You are here to be uniquely, brilliantly, authentically you, And that is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world. So let your light shine. Let your truth be heard. Let your authentic self be seen and celebrated and loved, because that is who you came here to be. And the world is waiting for you to show up fully, boldly, and unapologetically as yourself. And as you walk this path of authenticity, as you start to show up more fully and unapologetically as yourself, I want to talk about another essential piece of the puzzle, and that is self-love. Now, I know that term gets thrown around a lot these days. It's become a buzzword in the wellness world, a trendy hashtag on social media. But here's the thing. Self-love isn't just a fluffy, feel-good concept. It's not about taking bubble baths and buying yourself flowers, although those things are nice too. Self-love is a radical act of claiming your own worth, your own enoughness, your own inherent divinity, even in a world that's constantly trying to tell you otherwise. And I know it's not easy. We live in a culture that profits off our insecurity, that tells us we need to buy this product or lose that weight or achieve this status symbol in order to be worthy of love and acceptance. We're bombarded with messages every day that say we're too much of this or not enough of that. Messages that slowly erode our sense of self-worth until we start to believe them. But here's the truth. You are worthy of love just as you are. You are enough. Just as you are. You are a divine being, a precious child of the universe, a masterpiece in progress, and nothing and no one can take that away from you. And when you start to embrace that truth, when you start to treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion and respect that you would offer to a beloved friend, something miraculous happens. You start to show up differently in the world. You start to make choices that honor your own needs and desires rather than constantly putting yourself last on the list. You start to attract people and experiences and opportunities that reflect your own inner light. But it takes practice. It takes a willingness to unlearn the old stories and beliefs that have kept you small and rewrite new ones that celebrate your own magnificence. It takes a commitment to show up for yourself, even on the days when you don't feel like it, especially on those days. So how do you cultivate that kind of radical self-love? How do you start to treat yourself with the tenderness and care that you deserve? It starts with small, daily acts of self-nurturing. It starts with speaking to yourself with kindness even when you've made a mistake. It starts with setting boundaries around your time and energy and learning to say no to the things that don't serve you. It starts with taking moments throughout the day to check in with yourself, to ask what you need, to give yourself permission to rest or play or dream. And it means learning to forgive yourself over and over again. Because here's the thing, you are human. You are going to mess up. You are going to fall short. You are going to have days when you don't show up as your best self. But beating yourself up about it doesn't serve anyone, least of all you. What serves is compassion, understanding, and the willingness to start again in each new moment. So practice self-forgiveness. Practice letting go of perfectionism and embracing your own beautiful, messy humanity. Practice treating yourself with the same grace and patience and unconditional love that you would offer to a child who is learning and growing. And as you start to embody that kind of self-love, as you start to treat yourself with more tenderness and care, something amazing happens. You start to show up more fully and authentically in all your relationships. Because when you know your own worth, when you're not looking outside yourself for validation and approval, you're able to love others from a place of wholeness rather than lack. You're able to set healthy boundaries, communicate your needs clearly, and create relationships that are based on mutual respect and appreciation. And here's the beautiful thing, the more you love yourself, the more love you have to give to others. The more you fill yourself up with your own self-nurturing and self-compassion, the more you're able to show up as a force for good in the world. Because when you're operating from a place of wholeness and enoughness, you're able to give freely and generously without fear of depletion. So I invite you right here, right now, to make a commitment to your own self-love, to start treating yourself with the kindness and care that you deserve, to start speaking to yourself with words of appreciation and encouragement rather than criticism and judgment, to start making choices that honor your own needs and desires rather than constantly putting yourself last. And I want you to know that this is not a selfish act. Self-love is not about being self-centered or self-indulgent. It's about claiming your own worth, your own enoughness, so that you can show up more fully and authentically in service to others in the world It's about filling yourself up so that you can pour your light into everything you do. So be gentle with yourself, my friends. Be patient, be kind. Know that you are worthy of your own love and compassion, just as you are in this moment. And trust that as you start to treat yourself with more tenderness and care. As you start to claim your own inherent worth, you'll start to show up differently in the world. You'll start to attract people and experiences and opportunities that reflect your own inner light. And as you walk out of here today, I want you to remember this. You are loved. You are enough. You are a divine being, a precious child of the universe, a masterpiece in progress. And the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world is to start treating yourself accordingly. So let your self-love be a beacon of hope and healing and possibility. Let it guide you towards choices and actions that honor your own needs and desires. Let it be a force for good in your own life and in the lives of everyone you touch. Because when you love yourself fully and unapologetically, when you treat yourself with the kindness and compassion and respect that you deserve, you become a powerful force for positive change in the world. You become a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to claim our own worth, our own enoughness, our own inherent divinity. And that, my friends, is the greatest gift of all. So keep shining your light. Keep spreading your love. Keep showing up as the beautiful, worthy, magnificent being that you are. The world needs your love, and it all starts with loving yourself. And so, my friends, as we come to the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with one final thought. One final invitation to step into the life of your dreams, the life that's been waiting for you all along. And that is, you have a choice in every moment of every day. You have a choice to keep playing small, to keep settling for less than you deserve, to keep putting your own needs and desires on the back burner. Or you have a choice to rise up, to claim your own worth and enoughness, to start living a life that sets your soul on fire. And I know it's not always an easy choice. I know there will be times when fear and doubt and old patterns try to pull you back into the familiar, even if it's not what you truly want. There will be times when the voice of your ego tries to drown out the whispers of your own inner wisdom. But here's what I want you to remember in those moments. You are stronger than your fear. You are wiser than your doubt. You are more powerful than any obstacle or challenge that comes your way. And you have everything you need right here, right now, to create a life that is rich and meaningful and fulfilling beyond your wildest dreams. So I invite you in this moment to take a deep breath and connect with that place of strength and wisdom and power within you. That place that knows your deepest desires, your grandest visions, your most authentic truth. That place that has been guiding you all along, even when you weren't sure of the way. I want you to ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today to start living a life that feels good? What is one tiny act of courage or self-love or authenticity that I can offer myself in this moment? Maybe it's speaking your truth in a difficult conversation. Maybe it's setting a boundary around your time and energy. Maybe it's taking a leap of faith and saying yes to an opportunity that scares and excites you. Maybe it's simply taking a moment to look in the mirror and say, I love you to the person looking back. Whatever it is, I want you to trust that small step. I want you to know that it's leading you somewhere good, somewhere true, somewhere that is in alignment with your highest self and your deepest joy. And I want you to keep taking those small steps, day after day, moment after moment, trusting that they are adding up to a life beyond your wildest dreams. Because here's the thing, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And every step you take towards your own healing, your own growth, your own joy and fulfillment is a step towards a better world for all of us. When you choose peace over people-pleasing, when you choose forgiveness over resentment, when you choose authenticity over hiding and self-love over self-abandonment, you're not just transforming your own life. You're sending ripples of hope and healing and possibility out into the world, touching the lives of everyone you meet in ways you can't even imagine. So keep taking those steps, my friends. Keep being brave and bold and true. Keep shining your light even when the world feels dark. Keep trusting that every choice you make in alignment with your own deep wisdom is leading you closer to the life you were born to live. And know that you are not alone on this journey. You have a community of fellow travelers walking beside you, cheering you on, reminding you of your own inherent magic and grace. Lean on them when the road gets tough. Celebrate with them when you reach new heights. And most of all, remember that you are all in this together, all part of the same beautiful, messy, glorious human family. So as you walk out of here today, I want you to carry this message in your heart. I want you to let it be your North Star, your guiding light, your constant reminder of who you really are and what you came here to do. You are a force for good in this world just by being yourself. You have gifts and talents and passions that the world needs that only you can offer. You have a story to tell, a song to sing, a light to shine that is uniquely and beautifully your own. So don't wait another moment to start living that story, singing that song, shining that light. Don't wait for permission or approval or the perfect circumstances to start showing up as the fullest, most radiant version of yourself. Start now, start here. Start with one small, brave, beautiful step in the direction of your dreams. And trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor, that life is happening for you, not to you, and that everything you need to create a life of meaning and magic is already within you. You are enough just as you are. You are worthy of love and joy and abundance just by being yourself. You are a miracle, a masterpiece, a work of art unfolding in every moment. So go out there and live like it's true. Go out there and love like it matters. Go out there and shine like the sun, knowing that your light is a gift to the world and that the world is lucky to have you. And remember always that you are loved, you are seen, you are cherished, and you are never, ever alone on this wild and wonderful journey of life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for listening, for opening your mind and your heart to the possibility of a life beyond your wildest dreams. It has been an honor and a joy to share this time with you, and I hope that the words we've explored together today will continue to be a source of inspiration and guidance as you navigate the ups and downs of your own unique path. May you always remember the truth of who you are. May you always know the peace that comes from living in alignment with your own deep wisdom. And may you always, always, always keep shining your light, knowing that the world is a brighter place because you're in it. Go in peace, go in love, go in the joy of being fully and unapologetically yourself. The world is waiting for you, and it all starts